Me on my channel today. With the holiday season coming to a close, I thought this would be the perfect time to start a new series that I'm going to call Press Start. As in press and start on a new video game, just where I go over some recent pickups of mine and show them to everyone. And hopefully maybe give you guys some ideas for your next holiday season or your next birthday. If you find anything you like that I picked up. This isn't going to be specifically just video games, anything that's video game related, from accessories to action figures, anything related to games. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first game we're going to talk about today is Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Now, I have not played any of the games in the Yakuza series, but from everything I heard, the games are absolutely phenomenal. The reason I picked this one up specifically was because, like I said, I haven't played any of them, and I think there's 8 currently, and this is just a spin-off side story. So part of the reason I got it was to be able to play one of the Yakuza games until I can find Kiwami Zero or Yakuza Zero I can't remember how the order goes. I think it's Yakuza Zero, then Kiwami 1 and 2. But until I can get those games, which I haven't been able to find out in the wild yet, until I can get those, I picked this up so that I'll be able to play one of the games in the Yakuza series, which I think I'm going to make this my next play. The game just look incredibly fun. The combat looks fun. They've done a spin-off basically where they've got into like a turn-based combat RPG, which I think is really cool. This one looks more like an action RPG type of combat. And in this game, you play as a pirate captain, Goro Majima. And basically, as from what I understand about the story, is it's rival gangs, you're Yakuza or ex-Yakuza, trying to go in and basically do pirate things. It looked like there was some ship combat in here, which I'm very interested to get into. I haven't had a game with good ship combat since probably Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And that was like the only part I really enjoyed about the Black Flag game, to be honest with you. It wasn't a bad game. It was just Assassin's Creed was getting stale by that point. Picked up this game brand new on a sale at GameStop, and basically it says it's brand new, but it really ticked me off because there's a ding down here in the corner. I'm not sure if you can see that. And then also, if you look in here, the insert they had separate, and it's all folded up and everything. So not very crazy about the condition it came in, but I couldn't beat the deal. I got this and another brand new PS5 game for $60. They had like a two games for 30 a piece deal at the time when I went in there, so I couldn't pass it up. But yeah, let me know what you think about Yakuza, which ones you've played. Should I start with this game or should I start with Zero? I really want to get into the series, but like I said, I haven't been able to find Zero. So let me know. Let me know down in the comments. Should I start with this one? Should I start with Zero? Should I hold off? But looks like a great game. I think it's going to be an absolute blast. The next game I want to go over is more of a retro game. Well, it's a retro throwback game. It's a little bit older, but I was just able to get it physically for the first time, and that game is Shovel Knight. So if you don't already know, Shovel Knight is kind of a game that ushered the retro 8-bit genre back into, I'd say, kind of the limelight. It kind of brought it back into popularity. I have played Shovel Knight before. Like I said, I was able to just get it physically recently, and it's the Treasure Trove Edition, which has all the DLC and everything on disc, which is always important to me. It's really fun gameplay, but basically you're trying to take down the Order of No Quarter, led by the Enchantress. They ended up killing your friend, the Shield Knight, and you're trying to basically restore order to the kingdom. It's a fantastic game. Like I said, you end up fighting multiple bosses. With all the DLC on this game, I'd say there's easily 40 hours or so that you could probably get out of this whole thing. I want to say my first playthrough, just as the Shovel Knight campaign, was probably about 8 hours or so. I did start a second playthrough as the Spectre Knight. I didn't quite finish it. I do plan on going back to do some more of this. But this has been an absolutely fantastic game. And I mean, I want to say this was like $12 or $14 or something like that. I was able to find at a local game store. But this is well worth the money that you can get it for, even if you pay $20. If you're into the 8-bit games, this is a phenomenal game. There are parts where it's really frustrating. You lose your coin bags or whatever, and there's a lot of times where it just puts them in places where you can't, hey puppy, where you can't get your coins back basically without just dying again. If you fall into a pit. But that pretty much goes hand in hand with the old retro style of games. I wouldn't say it's quite Nintendo hard. You definitely know what you're supposed to do. There's no esoteric nature to it. There's a lot of unlockables, a lot of hidden features, a lot of hidden items that you can get. This game can last a long time, or it can be a short 8-hour playthrough that you go back to here and there and play through with different characters like I've been doing. But either way, I would recommend highly. You get Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. Pick it up on the PS4. I believe it's available also on the Switch. But pick this up, get a physical copy of it, and enjoy. Real quick before we get into the next game, there's an honorable mention for a pickup that's an accessory that I really wanted to share with everybody. I didn't think I would like this as much as I do, but this was a gift from my brother and his family for Christmas, and it is the new DualSense Icon Blue controller. I don't know if you can see it, but there's the PlayStation logo across the touchpad, and also on the back, it's got in Japanese PlayStation. If you like blue, I guess this is probably a great pickup for you. Over the Black Friday season, this was only like $54. So you were able to actually get this for like $25 less than what a regular DualSense controller goes for, whatever color you want. It's not as special as, like, say, like the 30th anniversary controller, which I do want very badly, it's managed to elude my grasp so far. But this is a freaking fantastic controller. It's a regular DualSense other than the writing on the back, the special color, and the PlayStation logo. But if you ever catch this thing on sale, pick it up. It's a cool controller. All right, back to the games, because that's what we're all here for, right? The next game is another PS5 game that I got, and it was part of that $30 deal I said with Yakuza. So I basically got this game as well for $30. But it's going to be Chronos: The New Dawn. Sorry, I forgot what the rest of the title was. But Chronos: The New Dawn. This is a survival horror game that looks absolutely phenomenal. All the gameplay that I've seen of this, it looks absolutely great. It looks like an old school Resident Evil survival horror game where you're trying to manage your inventory, trying to save bullets. From what I've heard about this game, it is brutal as far as you can't miss shots. You need to be placing all your shots on enemies correctly, or you end up soft locking yourself or just having to restart. I enjoy games that are the survival horror games that are difficult like that and really crunch down with the item management, like the original Resident Evil, until you know where everything's at, till you play through the game once or twice. There's always that tension, that trying to manage your inventory, trying to manage your bullets, trying to manage what enemies you run past. That sort of survival horror is just phenomenal to me. And this is done by Bloober Team, who recently did the Silent Hill 2 remake on the PS5. And that game just looks amazing as well. I started playing it, but I kind of wanted to hold on to it until the Halloween season. Come October, I want to play through a lot of, basically just horror games through all of October, even though that may be difficult because typically they're not very long. I don't know if I'm going to save this for Halloween. Y'all let me know. Should I go ahead and crack this open and just go ahead and play now? Or should I maybe play it now and then play it again in Halloween time in October? I'm kind of torn about that because I really want to play this game. Right now I'm playing a long JRPG, which I'll put in a video coming soon. So I kind of want to play something that's shorter for the next game that I'm going to play. And this would be absolutely perfect instead of playing the Yakuza Pirate game. But y'all let me know. Should I continue on and play Chronos next? Should I save it? wait for October. I already got a few games stored up. Like I said, Silent Hill 2, I'm waiting for October. I have Tormented Souls, which I'm going to be waiting until October. And I'll go over that in a future video. But yeah, y'all let me know down in the comments. Play Chronos, hold on to it. Let me know. All right, so I'm going to finish up this video with a few retro games. I got 2 more games to go. The next game is a PlayStation Portable game that I got out in Mobile, Alabama at a game store down there while I was traveling. And it is Final Fantasy Tactics, The War of the Lion. I haven't played this game on the PSP at all. This was one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 1. And this War of the Lion, from what I understand, or War of the Lions, it adds a lot of features and different aspects to the game that were kind of missing from the PS1. From what I hear, this was the best way to play it until they recently released the Final Fantasy Tactics remake on the PS5 and the PS4 and the Switch. This still may be the best way to play it, if I'm being honest with you. I'm not 100% sure. I know this was the definitive way to play it before, but like I said, I haven't played it on the PSP. This was so much cheaper. I think I paid $25. It is the greatest hits, but that's okay. I'm not that worried about it. It's in great shape. It's got the book, the games and books in great shape. And I've been really looking at trying to fill in some PSP collection rather than just having it modded. I'm always way more likely to play games if I own them physically than I am if I just mod a console and just play ROMs, which I could easily do for the PSP. I've done it in the past. It's awesome to do for the PSP, but I've never owned that many PSP games. The last time I had a PSP, I basically did just mod everything. Now, for those of you who don't know, this is not a traditional Final Fantasy game. It's a turn-based game, but it's a tactics. You move square by square. But it's got a wide range of job classes that are super fun. You can make so many different combinations with your party. I don't know about this version of it, but I will say on the PS1, you could easily soft lock yourself in this game and have to restart the entire game if you didn't have multiple saves. There's some parts later in the game where you have to go in battle after battle after battle. And they're tough battles. So maybe you get to the second one or whatever, and your party half wiped. One of them's already crystallized, and you don't have your party member anymore. And you got to substitute with a character you haven't been leveling. So it was a tough game. And I'm not sure about this version or the newest version, but if you soft lock yourself in this game and you're 30, 40 hours in, trust me, you're not going to want to keep playing it. You're not going to want to restart. Luckily, you're going to be pissed. But luckily, when I was younger, I didn't have a ton of games to play when I had the PS1. So I just restarted the first time I soft locked myself, and it wasn't a big deal. I had plenty of time and nothing better to do than play my games. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this one. Should I have gotten the new copy on the PS5 of the remake, or have you played the PSP version? How does it differ from the PS1? Y'all let me know in the comments. All right, last but certainly not least, it's another retro game that I picked up out in Alabama. It is a fantastic game, and it is one I've been looking for a long time, and that is Castlevania, Castlevania: The Dracula X Chronicles. Now, this is the greatest hits edition, but it is CIB inbox. The manual is beautiful. Case is beautiful. I've been looking for it forever. I know this has been also re-released on like the PS4 or whatever, but like I said, I've been trying to collect more games for the PSP. I've been playing a lot of portable stuff, and I think the PSP, a lot of people hate it. I think it was a fantastic console. The little UMDs are kind of dumb, but there's a ton of good games on it, and it's a nice little, easily portable. It's a small handheld console. It's great for playing PS1 games. The PSP games that I've found on it that I've played are great. But this includes the Castlevania Rondo of Blood, which until this came out on the PSP was not released in the US at all. So this was a huge deal. I think I paid about $32 for this. So I got a good deal on it. The guys that were at the shop were awesome. But it also contains what I think is my favorite Castlevania game of all time, and a lot of people's, if we're being honest. And that's Symphony of the Night. And for those that don't know, Symphony of the Night was completely just off the charts amazing Castlevania game. It added in RPG elements to the game that you hadn't seen before in a Castlevania. The movement, the combat, everything was super fun. I have not played Rondo of Blood, but I'm going to be playing it on this. I've seen plenty of gameplay footage of it. I'm going to be sharing some of that gameplay footage with you guys so y'all can see what it looks like. But from what I hear, it's probably one of the better Castlevania games. And like I said, before they remade it again, this was the only way to play Rondo of Blood. It was only released in Japan. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this one. Should I stick to the Symphony of the Night? Should I get the remake? I'm going to play Rondo of Blood. Hopefully it's a great game. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this pickup. If you stayed this long into the video, I really thank you. Thanks for watching the video. I plan on making more content soon. I'm going to do more pickups videos. I'm also going to be doing convention videos, as well as something that I'm going to call roll credits, where I go over and review games that I've beaten recently. So please think about liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.